these are the items you'll be needing for making this sleeveless square neck top. You'll be needing your fabric, 1.5 yard or 2 yards is okay. Your lining, your plastic boning, and your zip, and of course your sewing tools are also important as well. So we'll go straight into drafting out the top. So firstly, you would want to mark out how long you want the top to be. So for me, I am going with 20 inches. That is how long I want this top to be. Then I added 1 inch for aiming allowance like so. And I will go ahead and just connect the lines like this, as you can see. And this represents my full length or my top length. Next is to divide your shoulder measurement by 2. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with divided by 2 gave me 7.5 inches, which I'll go ahead and mark out. Then at this shoulder measurement I just marked out, I'll come down by 1 inch to get the shoulder slope or slant. Then I'll just go ahead and slant it upward like so. Next step is to mark out the armhole depth. Now for the armhole depth, you divide your round bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So the bust measurement I'm working with is 39 divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches gave me 8 inches, which is the armhole depth which I've marked out. So I'll go ahead and connect the shoulder slope to the 8 inches I just marked out like this. Next, I'll go ahead and divide the round bust measurement by 4. So the round bust measurement, which is 39 divided by 4 gave me 9.75, and I will mark that out here. And then I'll connect this to the armhole depth like so. So because this is a sleeveless top, there is no need for you to come in with 1/2 inch and draw the whole armhole curve. Rather, just go directly like this and draw out the curve. But if you still wish to go in with 1/2 inch and draw the curve, no problem. Next is to determine how wide you want the sleeveless to be. So for me, I just went with 2 inches. That is how wide I want it to be. So you can decide if you want it to be 3 inches wide, 3 inches wide. It all depends on you. 4 inches wide 4 inches wide is too big, so it all depends on you. But for me, I went with 2 inches. Now I'll go ahead and decide how deep I want the sleeveless top to be. So I'll just be working with 6 inches. But if you want exactly this deepness on this inspiration, just go ahead and mark out 8 inches or 8.5 inches. Yes. So I'll just go ahead and connect like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the 2 inches I just marked out like so. Now after doing this, the next step is to go ahead and draw a curve like this. So I'll just go ahead and come out from this point with 1 inch like so. And I'll bring in my ruler at this point, and you can see the way I placed it. Just placed it properly. And then I'll go ahead and draw my curve after placing it like so. So you can see we're already getting that shape of the sleeveless top. Next, you mark out your shoulder to your nipple or your shoulder to your bust point. So for this, the shoulder to the bust point is 10.75 inches, and I mistakenly marked out 10.25 inches, which I later corrected. So this is it, guys, 10.75 inches for my shoulder to the bust point or nipple. So you just go ahead and mark out your shoulder to your bust point, and then you connect it like so using your rule or your free hand. Now after connecting this line represents your bust point. Moving on, you go ahead and mark out your shoulder to your under bust. Now the shoulder to the under bust for this is 14.75 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark that out. So go ahead and mark out your own shoulder to under bust measurements. And I'll also go ahead and connect like so. And this line represents my under bust line. To get your waistline, just go ahead and mark out 3 inches from your under bust line. 3 inches from your under bust line gives you your waistline. So I'll go ahead and mark out 3 inches from my under bust line to give me my waistline. And I will connect like so as well to get a straight line like so. Now this line represents my waistline. Next, you go ahead and mark out your dart line. So to get your dart line, you divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. So my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 gave me 4 inches, which I'll go ahead and mark out like this across the lines like so. Mark it on your bust point, on your under bust line, and on your waistline, and also on your top length. And you go ahead and draw a straight line like so to connect them together. So for the sleeveless top, we'll make use of the regular normal dart. So for that, you come out by 1/2 inch on both sides of the waistline like so, and then you come down by 1 inch from your bust point like this to remove any form of pointiness at the bust nipple. Then we're going to connect the lines like so. So you go ahead and connect like this. So now that this is done, so this is the part that will be cut out. You also get to cut out this part. Now next step is to go ahead and decide if you want your dart to be straight or to be curved like a princess dart. So if you want it to be straight, just go ahead and draw a straight line upward. So right now it's up to you to decide the kind of style you want for your dart. So for me, I'll just go with the princess curve. So I'll just go ahead and connect from the bust point to the armhole like this. So if you want your dart straight, no problem, they are the same thing, just different styles for the darts. So next is to start imputing your round measurement. On your chest line, you already know we divided the bust measurement by 4. So we just add 2 inches for sewing allowance like this. Then on the bust point, you go ahead and also divide the bust measurement by 4. So the bust measurement divided by 4 for me is 9.75 inches, which I'll go ahead and mark out. Then I will also add 2 inches for sewing allowance like so. Now on your under bust line, you divide your round under bust by 4 and you also mark it out. So my round under bust is 33 divided by 4 gave me 8.5 inches. So I've marked it out. You also had 2 inches for sewing allowance. Then this dart part that you're going to cut out, you have to replace it. So here we have 1/2 inch and you put it back. I hope you understand. Now on your waistline, you divide your round waist measurement by 4 as well. So the round waist measurement for this pattern divided by 4 is 8.75 inches, which I have marked out. And I will also add 2 inches for sewing allowance, and this dart I will place it back. So this is 1 inch and I'll put it back. So whatever you cut out from your dart, you have to put it back on your drafting. You have to place it back. Now on your top length, you divide your hip measurement by 4. So I've marked mine out and then I added the 2 inches sewing allowance. So this part I'm going to cut out from the dart is 1.5 inches and I will place it back here like so. So I'm just going to connect these lines like this. So just go ahead and connect. After doing this, next is to, draw out your basque waistline. The sleeveless top has a basque waistline. So for the basque waistline, all you have to do is to come up by, 2 inches or 3 inches. For a very obvious basque waistline, come up by 3 inches for a very obvious bust waistline like the one you have on the picture, come up by 3 inches, or from your waistline you just go ahead and draw out the curve. So watch the way I'm going to do it. So you just draw the curve, that's just it. So you connect it to the top length like so. So at this point the pattern is ready, so I'll just go ahead and extend this chest line to meet up. So obviously this sleeveless top is a corset top, yes, because it is snatched at the waistline. So it is optional if you want it to be snatched or not, but for this exact kind of top you have to snatch it at the waist. So I'll be using a barrel for this. So I'll just find the midpoint of my under bust line like this. So after finding out the midpoint, I'll just rule a straight line like so. Instead of also finding the midpoint of your under bust, you can also go ahead and just extend your armhole depth downward. Just extend the lines downward. It's the same thing. So on your waistline, you go ahead and mark 1/2 inch on both sides on your waistline. The snatching is done on the waistline. Then you connect like so. You connect like so. At this point, the waist is snatched with 1 inch, and you have to support this by using your boning, by making use of your boning. So you already know in a corset, whenever you're snatching, you must make use of the boning to give the fabric a firm structure and to make it, more snatched. The snatching effects, firm and good. So this is it, guys. So you also get to cut this part out. You cut it out as well. At this point, it's time to cut out your pattern. So for me, I'm not going to cut out this snatching part yet because I'm not making use of this pattern now. So I'll just leave it because I might decide later on that I want to increase the snatching of the waist. So I'll just leave it temporarily and for now. So I'll just go ahead and cut. So when you're cutting yours, make sure you cut out the snatch part. So next you go ahead and label. So if you cut out the snatch part, you should have 3 pieces. So these 3 pieces is what you use to cut out the front and the back pattern. When cutting out your fabric, make sure your fabric is on fold. And for cutting out the front pattern, your front pattern should be placed on your fabric like this, and your fabric should be on fold. Yeah, it should be on fold. So you go ahead and cut out your front pattern. Now for the back pattern, there have to be a zipper allowance at the back. There have to be zip at the back for easy wearing. So for that, you just leave a space at the center back. Leave about 2 inches or 1.5 inches at your center back for your zipper allowance. If you want a sewing video, a sewing tutorial for this sleeveless square neck top, just let me know on the comment section. So see you on my next video.